have a new Colm McGuinness Helldivers 2 song for Super Earth. It says War Chant, but it also says Space Shanty. I imagine it's probably going to be a little bit of both. I am very excited to hear this because Colm has been on a roll, and if you've been paying attention for the last like month and a half or so, his music has dominated a grand majority of the various reactions that I've put out. And that's just because of the fact that I have been fascinated by what he's been doing. I'm hyper fixated on it. I promise it's not just because of the fact that he is the only person I want to listen to. Same with Jonathan Young. They're not the only people I want to listen to. I'm just transfixed on what they've been doing. And I am very, very excited to hear what he's got in store for us today. Now that the Battle for Earth is over with, link will be in the description below if you want to watch it without my commentary, because I will be pausing. I will be talking about it. Also down below is a link to my Patreon where you'll find longer form reaction videos to various anime and TV shows. And without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so this is a very dark and deep and foreboding song for sure. One of the things that I loved about his previous Helldivers song was that it sounded a lot like his Krieg song. Like if you've I reacted to those songs back to back, and I'm really glad I did, because his Helldivers 2 song and his Death Corpse of Krieg song both ended up like being sister songs, despite being about different factions from different universes. Like the two went hand in hand. They use a similar structure, a similar instrumental, a similar driving force. The things that they did were like, they were just systematic in the approach. And this is a little bit more somber. It's definitely looking back at things from like a more destroyed viewpoint. Like this is a song that I could have easily seen created for, like, say, Mass Effect, specifically for like Mass Effect 3, like the post Battle of Earth, the recovery era, as I would say. Like that's what this reminds me of, is that like this is like in the recovery era of Super Earth. Now, obviously, Helldivers 2, things have gone like completely haywire. I got a news article on my my Helldivers 2 companion app that said something about the fact that Terminids were now on Super Earth or seen in Super Earth space. So it's possible we might be going back to Super Earth here in a little while to try and liberate it from Terminids. I didn't read it fully, so maybe it just means like certain Super Earth super cities or super cities owned by Super Earth. So like other planets, we might be getting other urban areas similar to what we saw on the Super Earth defense for other planets, so that way they don't have to continuously invade Super Earth specifically. But I don't know for sure, but I know that like the recovery of what happened with the Illuminate force attacking Earth would take a while, and it would definitely, despite the fact that like it bred a lot of like heroics among the Helldivers and the Helldiver community, it would have also been very depressing because so many people would have been turned into the voteless. So many people turned into zombies. So many people just dying in the middle of that battle. So like this feeling that we're getting from this song is fitting for that. Like, yeah, democracy managed to beat back the tyranny of the hive mind of the Illuminate, but there was a cost. And while the fact that we may have beaten the Illuminate back, it could be argued that the Illuminate won that battle, because a lot of the individuals that died on their side were the voteless. They were Super Earth citizens that had been converted into shock troops. Like, we didn't really do much to the Illuminate like forces as a whole, because we were fighting against ourselves, essentially, that they had turned against us. So one could argue that like the Illuminates' invasion may have failed, but they sent a message in doing so that Super Earth isn't safe. Nowhere is safe. And to defeat them, we're going to have to defeat the people that we are sworn to protect and serve. So like it just adds layers upon layers to that. And this song captures that like sad, hopeless feeling very well, I feel like. Well, I want to rewind it for a second, and then I'll go back to where we are. Mostly just because 200 million. Okay, that's the number I wanted to see. So the number 200 million is catastrophic, okay? There's a quote that I read a long time ago. I don't remember what source it came from. I don't remember who said it, but it basically highlights exactly how inconceivable it is to register death in that fashion. And that quote is, how does it go? Like, 1 death is sad. 10 deaths is a tragedy. 100 deaths is apocalyptic. 1,000 deaths is a statistic. And the reason why that's important is because it's hard for the human brain to process data like that at an emotional level when you're processing it in a massive scale. I think that's one reason why so many people have trouble trying to deal with like what's going on in the world today with a variety of different things, a variety of different political things that are going on, especially overseas, because of the fact that, and I'm not discrediting the people that do understand those numbers, but there are some people who don't. I think the reason why is because they can't wrap their head around it. It is hard for the human brain to acknowledge numbers that high and have them have a meaning, especially when that meaning is supposed to be about human life. So when you hear a number like 200 million Helldivers died, I think that's what that was referencing, is 200 million. Maybe it was 200 million between the Helldivers and the Voteless, but considering the fact that the entire planet was under siege, I think the number should have been a lot higher than 200 million if you're factoring in all of the civilians that would have perished. If that 200 million is just for the Helldivers, think of it like this. The Helldivers lost almost the entire, like 2/3 of the entire population of the United States, if that's the case, in the invasion of the Illuminate on Super Earth. That's just for that 1 week battle. That is an astronomical number. And it is a number that is almost unbelievable to most people. Which is honestly one of the reasons why, like, I don't care what anybody says. I feel like the Helldivers have to have some sort of cloning technology to keep up with the massive number of people that are being lost. Because 200 million would tax a military force that is a galactic-wide military force to its core. To put things into a little bit of perspective, I believe the estimated death toll on the Death Star 1 was something ranging around, like, I think it was like 1 million, 1.5 million souls that were destroyed in the Death Star 1. I could be wrong about that number. Maybe that number is inaccurate, but like, considering the fact that a normal Imperial Star Destroyer usually had a crew and soldier complement of roughly around 25,000, and we don't know how many Star Destroyers were docked at the Death Star, and the Death Star was the size of a small moon with an interior that could house easily 1.5 million people. 1.5 million people feels like a pretty decent estimate. So scale that up by, what is that, like 150 times, and that's approaching something along those lines. I don't know. Someone can do the math. I'm running on 5 hours of sleep. I am not mathing today, but like, just think about that. If the Death Star had 1.5 million people on it when it blew up, the Helldivers in a week lost like 200 times that. That is insane. And if that isn't just the Helldivers, if that is also factoring in all of the voteless and whatnot, that is still a large section of the population. Like I said, that's still 2/3 of the United States worth of individuals that died from the Illuminate invasion. So like, there's a reason why this song sounds sad. I'm just letting it play out. I like the way that he ended that too. I was expecting it just to be an instrumental. I wasn't expecting them to actually continue playing. That was a fun song. I really thoroughly enjoyed that. I do believe, honestly, genuinely, that the Battle of Super Earth is easily one of the most catastrophic things that could have happened in video game history. Not in its execution, just in terms of like the lore of the Helldivers. Like that was a monumental problem. Just exploding everywhere. Everything, just so many people. 200 million, if not actual Helldivers and civilians, if that's all Helldivers, that is so many people that got taken out by the Illuminate. So yeah, I stand to reason that I don't care what anybody says. The Illuminate may have lost that battle, but it made a statement. And technically, I guess, kind of won the engagement. So take that for what you will. They may have lost some ships, but they didn't lose very many actual Illuminate forces. Meanwhile, they put a hurting on us. And that just makes me double down on the idea that the Helldivers have cloning technology of some kind. They have to be able to lose all of that. But overall, I feel like that was a very solid and very, very fun and remorseful take on what happened. And it's definitely one of those marches that is like, yeah, this is going to be a song about the rebuilding of Super Earth, which is something that like genuinely makes sense. And I'm kind of happy, honestly, that he decided to make a second song for this. I don't know if he's going to be switching over from Warhammer to Helldivers. It'd be kind of cool to see what other things he pops up with this, but I suppose we'll have to see and wait for the future. But in the meantime, thank you for joining me. I am Markoffa12, and I will see you in the next video.